Breaking: Bolivia arrests former Interior Minister Arturo Murillo on corruption charges. Israeli strikes kill 45 across Gaza Strip amid intensified offensive. And Portugal in mourning as 17 found dead in Lisbon tram disaster as nation grieves. Federal jury orders Google to pay $425 million in landmark privacy case. Good afternoon. Welcome to Around the World in 30 minutes on Politics and Business Television. I'm Fatima Abubakar Oyibo. Many thanks for joining us. In a dramatic early morning operation, Bolivian authorities have arrested former cabinet minister Arturo Murillo, 61 of age, at the Santa Cruz airport, just moments after his deportation from the United States. Murillo, who served under interim president Jeanine Áñez, was previously sentenced to nearly 6 years in a U.S. prison for laundering bribes tied to a $5.7 million tear gas contract. Now back on Bolivian soil, Murillo faces a fresh reckoning. Government officials confirmed that 2 local arrest warrants were executed upon his arrival. He was swiftly handcuffed by a phalanx of uniformed officers and escorted from the terminal. Murillo's legal troubles in Bolivia are far from over. In October last year, he was sentenced in absentia to 8 years in prison for the same tear gas procurement scandal that led to his U.S. conviction. His return marks a pivotal moment in Bolivia's pursuit of justice for corruption tied to turbulent post-Morales era. A wave of Israeli air, drone and artillery strikes has left at least 45 Palestinians dead across the Gaza Strip. According to civil defense teams and medical sources, the attacks, which targeted densely populated residential areas of Gaza City, make a sharp escalation in the ongoing military campaign. Among the casualties were women and children, with reports of entire families killed in their homes. Strikes on the Al-Sabra neighborhood and the Al-Af family residence have drawn widespread condemnation from humanitarian groups. Officials say the offensive is part of the Israelis' push to seize control of Gaza City, home to nearly 1 million people. The situation on the ground remains dire, with civilians facing not only bombardment but also severe shortages of food, water and medical aid. As global concern mounts, calls for an immediate ceasefire continue to grow. In high-stakes summit held Thursday in Paris, Western leaders met with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to explore the possibility of providing long-term security guarantees should a peace deal with Russia be reached. The gathering, hosted by France and the United Kingdom, brought together heads of states from Europe, Australia, Japan and Canada, along with U.S. Special Convoy Steve Witkoff. This group, dubbed the Coalition of the Willing, is weighing troop commitment and strategic support to ensure any future agreement between Kyiv and Moscow hold firm. But the path forward remains uncertain. Negotiations over a ceasefire continue to stall, and resistance from both Russia and former U.S. President Donald Trump, who has yet to commit to deploying American forces, cast a shadow over the talks. Ahead of the summit, Witkoff held closed-door meetings with senior European officials, signaling Washington's cautious engagement. Coalition leaders are now working to finalize a framework that could bolster Ukraine's defenses and deter future aggression. As diplomatic efforts intensify, the world watched closely for signs of progress towards a lasting peace in Eastern Europe. Still on Russia, in Russia's far eastern city of Vladivostok, a story of resilience is unfolding on their eyes. 30-year-old Dmitry Afanasyev, a war veteran turned athlete, is training with Soyuz, the local para-ice hockey team, where players glide across the rink in especially designed sleds, having removed their prosthetic legs. Afanasyev, who lost his limb while serving on the front lines in Ukraine, is now chasing a new goal to become a Paralympic ice hockey champion. But the path is steep. Russian teams remain banned from the Paralympic Games due to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Recalling the moment that changed his life, Dmitry says a mine came flying towards him, and when he looked down, everything was torn apart. He applied his own tourniquet and was pulled to safety by fellow soldiers. His wife, a surgeon, confirmed the inevitable amputation. Despite the odds, Dmitry and his teammates, many of whom also served in Ukraine, are pushing forward, transforming trauma into tenacity. Their sleds may carry scars, but their spirits remain unbroken. Portugal is observing a national day of mourning following a devastating tram crash in Lisbon that claimed 17 lives and left 21 others injured. The tragedy unfolded late Wednesday afternoon when the iconic Elevador da Gloria funicular, one of the capital's most beloved tourist attractions, derailed and slammed into a building near Avenida de Liberdade. Emergency services confirmed that all victims have been recovered from the wreckage. While the identities and nationalities of the deceased have not yet been released, officials report that at least 11 of the injured are foreign nationals, underscoring the tram's popularity among international visitors. In response, the Portuguese government swiftly declared Thursday a day of national mourning, while Lisbon city officials announced a 3-day mourning period for the capital. Speaking at the scene, Lisbon Mayor Carlos Moedas called it a tragic day for their city, adding Lisbon is in mourning. It is a tragic incident. President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa also expressed his condolences, describing the crash as a national tragedy. Authorities have launched a full investigation into the cause of the derailment as the country grapples with one of its worst public transport disasters in recent history. Moving now to South Africa, in a powerful gesture of the international solidarity, Mandela, grandson of the South African Nelson Mandela, is joining the global Sumud Flotilla, a multinational convoy delivering humanitarian aid to Gaza. Speaking from Johannesburg Airport, Mandela described his participation as a continuation of his family's legacy of fighting injustice. The flotilla, which includes activists from 44 countries, aims to break the Israeli naval blockade and deliver critical supplies to the besieged enclave. Among the participants are South African activists, Swedish climate advocate Greta Thunberg, and international civil society leaders. Mandela emphasized that global pressure and sanctions helped dismantle apartheid in South Africa, and he believes similar action is needed to support Palestinians today. The African National Congress has endorsed the mission, calling it an echo of South Africa's own liberation struggle. Reviewing the situation in the Palestinian territories, it said Israeli as a boat set sail. The message is clear: the fight for freedom knows no borders. In a major ruling out of San Francisco, a U.S. federal jury has ordered tech giant Google to pay $425 million in damages for violating the privacy rights of nearly 100 million users. The verdict stems from a class action lawsuit alleging that Google continued to collect user data even after individuals had disabled tracking features in their account settings. The case, which dates back to 2020, focused on Google's web and app activity setting. Plaintiffs argued that despite assurances, the company harvested data through third-party apps, including Uber, Venmo, and Instagram. Google maintains that the data was anonymized and stored securely and has announced plans to appeal the decision. While the jury did not find Google acted with malice, thus avoiding punitive damages, the ruling marks one of the largest privacy-related payouts by a major tech firm to date. And that wraps up the program. But before we go, the headlines again. Breaking news as Bolivia arrests former Interior Minister Arturo Murillo on corruption charges. An Israeli strikes kill 45 across Gaza Strip amid intensified offensive. And Portugal in mourning as 17 dead in Lisbon tram disaster as nation grieves. In tech, federal jury orders Google to pay $425 million in landmark privacy case. From me, Fatima Abubakar Oyibo, to have a lovely day and bye for now.
Okay.